Welcome, listeners, to the Stories, Fables, Ghostly Tales podcast, and I'm your tea-loving tale teller. My Earl Grey is at the ready, yum. I hope you're having a fantastic day or night, and I can't wait to bring today's fallen angel story to your lovely ears. The tale teller is back and encounters a creature like no other. A monster of sorts, but not quite. Should he be wary of this creature? Only time will tell. In today's episode, the tale teller encounters Alora the Angel. So turn those lights off, the sound up, and get ready for something unique. My name is the tale teller, and this is the tale of when I first met a fallen angel. It was the turn of the millennia, and times had certainly changed. The closest thing people had to a monster experience was that movie with that undead killing thing in the hockey mask that drowns a lot, whilst people who had actually seen monsters were deemed insane by the modern government. Yes, times have changed. And with time, I learned that despite having hunted monsters for over 200 years, they still managed to defeat me occasionally. At first, I believed it was due to the monster's experience and strength alone, but as I know now, it was me. Strength may not be the question here, but experience certainly was. I was on one of my hunts chasing an elemental when my mission was cut short by a series of arrows. They struck with such speed, I barely saw it hit the target before the arrows seemingly began to glow, a glistening yellow, and igniting the elemental into a flaming conflagration, disintegrating it immediately.
Hi there!
Adrenaline still rushing through my body, I turned out of instinct, throwing my weapon at where I thought the voice came from. That person who called out to me caught the weapon by the blade like it wasn't an issue at all. I haven't made a face like the one I pulled that day in a very, very long time.
Hey, what was that for?
The voice said angrily.
I was just trying to help with that creature.
I stuck out my hand and my blade returned to me. Who are you? I broached cautiously, immediately concerned at how my blade lent itself to being caught instead of cutting for a change.
My name is Alora. I'm an angel. Well, I'm a fallen angel,
she said in disappointment. Time for demon lore. For those of you wondering about the difference between a fallen angel and a demon, demons are actually created by the evils of man, and fallen angels are, for lack of a better term, dishonorably discharged from the armies of heaven. Seeing as this creature caught my blade, I was inclined to believe her, and I'd wait and see if she was lying about being a fallen angel. I lowered my blade. What use was it right now? I apologize for my outburst then, I said, seeing as these creatures, whilst still disowned, are still holy. If she was anyone else, I probably would have killed them.
It's okay. What's your name?
You know my real name, but I prefer to be called the Tale Teller. Angels have the ability to interpret thoughts, and humans are extremely easy to read. As you are easily listening to my tale, Alora was just as easily reading me.
Okay, well, I'll call you Teller. So listen, I've been following you for a while, and I think you need training.
Training? I asked.
Teller, your fighting skills are questionable. I mean, you can defeat any human in a fight, but these creatures you're killing? Well, they're not human.
She responded, "Well, how about we see how strong I am?" I eagerly asked her, wanting to truly test my strength.
Okay, but just so you know, I'm not going easy on you,
Alora said. I charged with my weapon faster than any human can move. I was sure I'd catch her by surprise, but I was caught off guard by being suddenly grabbed by the face and slammed onto the ground hard enough that I heard the earth around me crackle and collapse. I picked myself up, dropped my weapon, and threw my fists up as if I was about to box with this entity. I threw punch after punch. All of my hits were either dodged or blocked by her hands. I even threw kicks, only for them to be avoided or deflected with ease. Not a single one of my blows landed, but one of hers did. In the middle of my multiple punches, she managed to fit a solid blow, squarely hitting me in the chest. Her hand went right through me, literally.
Oh my god, I'm sorry, Teller. It was instinct. I didn't mean to.
Picking up on her panic, I realized she had no idea that I self-healed. I dropped to my knees, grabbing my chest, pretending to be panicked. Alora dropped on one knee, not knowing what to do. I knew this was my only chance. I grabbed both sides of her head and threw my knee into the bridge of her nose. Light exploded from around her nose and eyes. I was temporarily blinded before I was picked up and hurled to the ground roughly by her hands.
How could you? I thought I killed you.
She yelled. I reached out my hand and pulled my weapon to me, only to throw it back at her. Again, she caught it without missing a beat. My weapon was useless on her.
And stop doing that.
She yelled before throwing it back at me, piercing it through my chest and pinning me to a tree. I pulled it out of me, exhausted and out of energy. But I pulled myself up and prepared to fight again. This time, I was going to use my blade differently. I launched myself forward with such force, it threw up the ground behind me. Alora opened her hands and summoned a golden bow before pulling back the string, causing a shining, glistening arrow to appear. She let go of the string, and the arrow flew toward me at blinding speed. But this time, I wasn't going to let her catch me by surprise. I barely managed to slice the arrow in two. It exploded behind me. And as I got closer and closed the gap, I was stopped.
Stop!
She yelled. I planted my feet in the ground and stopped before her.
This is your training.
She said. What? I asked.
You already know how to fight pretty well, but you're not perfect at it. And if you're going to defeat
She paused before saying.
Going to defeat the monsters, you need to be perfect.
I understood what she meant, but I wondered what she was going to say at first. We spent years together, training, hunting, then training some more. We traveled all across the world, and I learned to survive in extreme conditions. It was 2010 before she told me.
Listen, I've done all I can. Your skills match my own. You make me so proud. I see a future full of pain, and yet full of triumph. 8 years from now, we will meet again.
And with that, she gave me a hug before unfolding her wings and flying away. I hope you enjoyed today's episode, lovely listeners. Alora the Angel has her own tricks up her sleeves, and she can sure fight. Thank you so much to our mysterious narrator and Jayce York for this story. Stay tuned for tomorrow, where I'll be covering a super intense horror story titled Knock, Knock by Bree Nick Garren. Oh yes, she's back, and I love her stories. So strap yourself in for tomorrow's ride. And thank you so much for listening. And on that note, it's that time. This is the place where stories live, and you tale tellers come to listen. Enjoy your day or night, and join me every weekday for our creepy tradition. And as always, till next time.